Boom Bam Connect. Welcome back to another one, Chronic's Hot Box Hot News. And this one's a bit of a upsetting one still. I ain't gonna lie, this one's gonna take me way out the algorithm. Way out the algorithm. But sometimes it's not really about being in the algorithm all the time. Even though I'm not in that top algorithm that I want to be in. Yeah? Big up everyone that's been engaging with the last couple content that I brought out. Man said brought it out, that made no sense. Whoosh. But yeah, let's just get into this one, because this one's a bit of a upsetting one. When I read about this story, read about this the other day, it came through my feed. I was like, wow. I was thinking, rah. Most of my people from UK, so would they even like resonate with this? But I believe they would, because at the end of the day, it's a young girl that's died, that has unalived herself under, I can't really say under, but under the supervisions of nurses. So basically, what in Washington Children's Hospital Washington Children's Hospital fires 15 nurses for alleged HIPAA violations. Yeah, and if you don't know what HIPAA violations is, let me actually get it out, because I don't even know. HIPAA violations meaning. HIPAA violations refers to a breach of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, which protects the privacy and security of individual health information. In generally involves unauthorized access, use of disclosed of protected health information (PHI) held by covered entities like healthcare providers, health plans, and healthcare clearinghouses. So, is a Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. So it's basically like a health insurance to hold these hospitals at what's the word I'm looking for? Like hold them to I don't know. Write the word in the comment. Yeah, Bush. Anyway, 15 nurses at Providence Sacred Heart Medical Center and Children's Hospital in Spokane, Washington, has been terminated for allegedly HIPAA violations. Yeah, and it's so mad. Like the young girl that unalived herself, 12-year-old Zara Niyimbona. I can't really say her surname properly, but she sounds like she's either like she come from she has South African parents, or I'll say Kenyan parents. Just me guessing, innit? Yeah. Sarah June Niyimbona. Yeah, beautiful name. She unalived herself at the age of 12. She had from the backstory, I'm gonna read it anyway, but she had like mental, and she wanted to harm herself. She was under suicide watch, and anyone knows about suicide watch. I've been in prison and in the police station. I know about suicide watch because, especially in prison, I've seen many people that's been on suicide watch. When you're on suicide watch, the officer, police officer, whoever, doctor, whoever is assessing that watch, and whoever is the what's the word I'm looking for? Whoever is the person that feels vulnerable at that point in time has to be monitored for 24 hours. 5 video, but also 5 physical. So meaning they will have a video surveillance recording them for 20, like in that space that they're in, and that space will be removed from anything that could cause self-harm. Yeah. And then on top of that, they will have a doctor or officer or someone watching them from the door, with the door wide open. In certain circumstances, these cells or places don't have a door. Do you get what I mean? So for them to watch. So it's really crazy that in a children's hospital that she was able to do the following. So let me just read through this and break it down. It's a really upsetting story still. The nurses allegedly assessed the medical records of the 12-year-old patient, Sarah, Niyimbona, who committed suicide at the Children's Hospital on April the 13th of 2024. And this is where it's only crazy, because this story is only being like, documented. I won't say documented, but it's only really getting traction and being brought up to light in the last. Look, I'm reading the story. This got posted on the 12th of August 2025, and this incident happened on the 13th of April 2024. Yeah, when there was no direct treatment relation. Starting in the early 2024, the patient has been repeatedly admitted to the emergency department of the hospital after several self-harm incidents and suicide attempts. This tells me that one, this hospital should be familiar with the patient, because she's been admitted and the family's been there numerous times from the start of the year. So it's not like, because this incident happened in April. April is the January, April, May, June. Yeah, January. What am I talking about? January, February, March, April. So yeah, April's the 4th month. Yeah, April being the 4th month. So it's not like this happened 4 months and she's been there several times. Yeah, they should have known her. They should have remembered her. And they should know that this girl is a high probability, is a high watch. We need to keep our eye on her. My hot chocolate. I was having hot chocolate and hobnobs just before I started recording. So over the night on the 13th of April 2004, the patient was left in her room alone. Yeah, and walked. Yeah, these times she's meant to be on a suicide. She's had many suicide attempts, so she should be on a suicide watch. Yeah, I don't know how to say suicide properly. I'm not with that. Overnight on the 13th of April, the patient left her room alone and walked a quarter of a mile to a parking facility on the hospital campus and jumped from the 4th floor parking garage. She died in hospital emergency room 2 hours later, while the patient previously had 2 sitters. She had not one, but 2 sitters. And sitters is being what I explained to you before, where when someone's on suicide watch, despite them being on closed circuit, a CCTV surveillance, they will have someone physically sitting there watching them. And this girl had 2 sitters, including 1 sitter monitoring via video. Yeah. The camera had allegedly been removed from her room weeks earlier, and the sole sitter had been cancelled the day before the patient had left her room and exited the facility undetected. This is where someone has been doing a lot of self-harms and suicide attempts. The fact that they removed the CCTV and the sitter is crazy. That means whoever did the risk assessment to risk her low, because for these stages to happen, they must have had the risk assessment. You can't take away the CCTV and the sitter without risk assessing that she's less likely to self-harm again or do something like that again. Yeah. Investigate West did an investigation, speaking to the hospital staff under conditions of anonymity due to employees' fears. They criticised the hospitals for the lack of protection of patients at risk of self-harm and suicide. The hospital had closed its psychiatric centre for children and adolescents 6 months previously. It was losing $2 million per year, and its patients who had been admitted to the psychiatric centre were being treated on general pediatric floor. I know I said that still wrong, but pediatric floor. While 2 rooms had been created within the pediatric unit specifically for psychiatrist patients, and anonymous sources at the hospital claimed nurses tasked with caring for those patients had not received any additional training. This is crazy. and the rooms lack physical security measures of the psychiatrist center by the children's parents for alleged negligence and medical malpractice, which is being monitored by round-the-clock sitters assigned to a room via video surveillance, which those measures were no longer present, even though the patient still was suicidal risk. And that's what I just said. It's crazy. The Washington Department investigated the hospital over the incident, and 15 nurses now have been terminated in connection with this incident, and another nurse has been disciplined under the HIPAA medical record and generally can only be assessed for reasons related to the treatment, payment, or healthcare operation. Assess medical records out of curiosity, even with no malice intent, is HIPAA violation. Staff members found to have violated HIPAA's face sanctions, which for unauthorized medical resource access of often termination. That's crazy. That's crazy. The nurses were not only individually to be terminated or disciplined in connection with the incident. Former staff members have spoken with the media, claimed that other staff members were terminated over the incident. The hospital has not confirmed how many individuals were terminated, whether those terminations were also alleged HIPAA violations. So it sounds like this Washington State Children's Hospital is just terminating a lot of their nurses, but it just seems like they're going through it and they need to be assessed. And this is why it's so mad. Sometimes we shit on our healthcare in the UK, and this is America. This is like where you have to pay to play, and you can see where the money's going out. Departments, people are cutting angles, cutting and removing sitters, because the sitters removed, that's money saved. The person not watching the CCTV, that's money saved. And look at all of this. There's money saved, but there's not really money saved, because a 12-year-old has unalived herself, managed to leave her secured facility, get out, which is crazy, go through all the securities, which is crazy, yeah, because she's on a suicide watch unit. She's on like a ward for, you get what I mean? There should be some checks before she's able to go through all of that, get to the hospital car park, then proceed up to a higher floor, fourth floor, and jump. That's crazy, man. 15 people being fired, that's a minimum. I actually believe the whole hospital should be reevaluated and checked. But to move on quickly, because I thought, let me just stay on the subject, because I was just like, I love information. No one that knows me, I just love random information. I read a lot of information, read the news, gather stuff. I was like, right. Has it been any nurses struck off in 2025? And I just doing my research, but I did find one. So I thought, why not? Let me bring it to you with lots of attention. A nurse was struck off, and this is in the UK, NHS Northampton General Hospital. Yeah, it's all out there. 2025, BBC published. Lewis Parry. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Sharon McCready was struck off, yeah? She was struck off from Northampton General Hospital, yeah? For a few reasons, yeah? This nurse took medication from the hospital, yeah, that she worked, yeah? She also was intimidating and that, but I don't really care about the intimidating. I do care about the, yeah? She was stealing medication from the hospital. And you see where it is. This is where I'll say that is a bit different. Like, it's crazy, because even like them nurses that were in, the 15 nurses that got sacked and fired, let me know in the comments, do you believe they deserve to have a criminal prosecution against them? Because it's negligence, isn't it? And through their negligence, I can't say, through their negligence, oh my god, yeah, through their negligence, yeah, the girl, Sarah, died. 12-year-old Sarah died. Yeah, she unalived herself. And this is another one, like, this is Sharon McCready, yeah. She was taking medication from the hospital, and one thing I've gone through I went through like at least 10 articles. They're not saying what medication she took. I want to know what medication she took because it's only right. We should know. Yeah? She took many, they just say a quantity of medication. Yeah? And what is this type of medication? Because if it was someone outside, like just someone on the roads walking around and he had certain forms of medications, whether it be, because you have to remember a lot of these medications that like they're prescribed. It's illegal for you to have it if it's not prescribed to you. Like it's illegal. It's the same thing as having crack or heroin on you. It's the same thing. But Sarah McCready, she got struck off. That's what happened. She's probably got another job at home, chilling. Yeah. Was also found to have inappropriate, intimidating manners towards colleagues at Northampton General Hospital, probably because she was on the extra stuff. Yeah, I'm joking. Yeah. And a panel at the Nursing and Midwife Council said there's no case to answer regarding allegation of racially offensive language or discriminative behaviour. Ms. McCready did not attend she didn't even attend misconduct hearing, but during an early investigation by the hospital trust claimed to be a victim of bullying. She sounds like a Karen still. She acknowledged and she used some language that could be regarded as inappropriate and taken out of context. The panel found Ms. Creedy took a quantity of medicines from her employee without permission from 18th of September 2022, first reported in the Northampton Chronicles. It says that Ms. Creedy's dishonest conduct and behaviours towards colleagues are suggestive of a deep-seated attendal concerns. On another occasion, Ms. Creedy refused to work at an allocated shift alongside particular colleagues, leaving the ward unstaffed. That's a madness. Do you imagine that? A whole ward being unstaffed, like there's no doctors on the ward. Oh, it's not even funny, yeah? This is Miss McCready. I actually need to find a picture of her, literally, yeah? Because there's articles, but there's no pictures. I need to find a picture of it, yeah? She was also accused of using racially offensive terms, but the panel said there was no evidence. You know what I mean? People don't want to dig into the, you know what I mean? I hear it. I don't hear it, but this is what they like to do because race is that's a whole nother bag. That's a whole nother couple M's you have to pay out, or, you know what I mean? A couple people can feel offended. Miss Creed was notified of the hearing in February, but sent an email on the 25th of March saying she was unaware of the meeting was tomorrow or it was virtual. Yeah, she did that. I forgot. The cat ate my homework thing. Like, I forgot. I didn't even know. I didn't get that letter. It was given a no option to prepare some anything. It will not be participating in tomorrow's meeting. I have no desire to be part of the NMC or nursing, she wrote. She said she quit. She said, fuck it. I got bagged. I'm not involved with no more. Like, the panel decided Miss McCready action did. And you see what it is? I ain't gonna lie. The panel, I ain't gonna lie, this is nonsense. The panel didn't win on this, yeah? And this is the one person that's been struck off, yeah? We need to do better, because she didn't get struck off. She basically bounced, and they said, yeah, we're striking you off. No, there's people, if she's able to take all these medications, which they're not specific, and you have to remember, there's crazy medications in the hospital, you know? Crazy. There's like medications for cancer, this opiums, like all these things. Like super strong painkillers. You know, on top of that, she left a whole ward unstaffed. That is. Alright, guys, today I said, yeah, this one's different. I had to jump out. I know I put myself out the algorithm. I might not get a lot of views for this video. I might just get 10 views. I might get 50. I might get 100. But at the end of the day, it's not always about the views. I was just like, information, letting people know shit, letting people know the stuff. Stop that, Brighton. Yeah, letting people know the stuff. Yeah, I'm getting a phone call from Brighton right now. No, yeah. Boom Bam Connect for the Eagle. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know, guys. 87.9% of you guys are watching my content and you're not subscribed, please, guys, subscribe. Top five. Boom, bam.